What is up guys, Stark here. I am back with another Fate video, and in today's video we are going to be doing a character spotlight for a brand new 5-star that just came out, and this is actually going to be a very sought after 5-star character, and that is going to be Okita Souji Alter. So Okita Alter is a 5-star alter ego that came out with the new Guda Guda event, and she's a pretty good character. She's an alter ego, which is very rare for characters in the game right now. There's not that many of them. I think there's only 4 that you can pull, and then there's 1 event character. So definitely a bit of a rarity, so a lot of people are going to be trying to get her just because of that. Also because she's Okita, so there's that, and also because of laser beams. But yeah, so 5-star character at level 90, she will go up to 12,696 HP and 12,465 attack. This will rank her 65th overall in HP and 5th overall in attack. Her star absorption is 99, her star generation is 10.2%, and her noble phantasm generation on her attacks is going to be 0.77, and on defense it will be 4%. So she is an alter ego, which I've said a few times, so that means that she has the saber and the assassin gems for her ascension and skill enhancement materials, so pretty easy for leveling her up. For the most part, there are a few other items there that you need, but for the most part it is pretty generous with what you need in order to ascend her. But overall, I think she's a pretty good character. She looks a little basic and bland when you look at her skill set, but I think it's still worth it to try and go for her, especially because of her class type, and she can do some pretty good damage as well. So let's just go ahead and look at her skills. Her first skill is going to be the Kyokuchi A. This will increase her own quick card and buster card effectiveness for 3 turns. This is on a 6-turn charge time at max level, and it gives a 30% increase for those 3 turns. So overall, it's a pretty solid buff there. It's only for herself though. All of her skills are only for herself, so she is very selfish in that regard. But it's a pretty good output of damage there, and if you do combo her with someone who can increase buster card effectiveness or quick card effectiveness, she's going to be even better. So she pairs really well with Merlin, obviously, as the Buster Servant, and when Scotty rolls around, you'll be able to benefit a little bit there as well with the Quick Servant being Scotty. So, you know, a couple more weeks, a month maybe, until Scotty rolls around, so it gives you time to prep for that. Not the ideal choice for Scotty, but she can benefit from it there nonetheless. Her second skill is going to be the Fudan B, which will increase her Noble Phantasm gauge, as well as increasing her critical star gather rate for 1 turn. So you'll get a 30% increase to your gauge at level 10 and a 500% increase to your gather rate at level 10 on a 6-turn charge time, which again is still pretty good. Anytime you have an instant Noble Phantasm generation gain for one of your skills is going to be very helpful, especially if it's over 20%, because then you could just slap on a kaleidoscope, and if it's not max level, then you can just use this skill, have your Noble Phantasm ready to go, and her Noble Phantasm is an AoE, so in that situation, that's always going to be very good to get your instant Noble Phantasm off and make farming that much easier. She will have an upgrade to her second skill, the Fudan B, which will increase it to Fudan B+. Now this will increase, it'll give her an extra effect, so you'll be able to increase your attack 3 times over the course of 3 turns at 20%. Now we won't get this for a while. This actually just came out on Japan a couple weeks ago, so it's still pretty fresh, so don't expect this on NA really anytime soon, but it is there, so I did feel like I needed to mention it. It's a pretty good increase overall, gives her a little bit more damage output. And then for her third and final skill, it is going to be the Muhen A. This will increase her Noble Phantasm strength for 1 turn, as well as applying evasion 1 time over the course of 3 turns. So this one is pretty good to be able to get a little bit of a boost in your overall Noble Phantasm damage. 30% at level 10 is pretty good. This will be on a 5-turn charge time at maximum level, so that's going to be really nice. The only real drawback to this skill is the evasion. Being able to avoid 1 attack over the course of 3 turns could potentially be very useful if you're saving it for a Noble Phantasm, but it's very risky, and honestly, outside of that, even if you do use it for Noble Phantasm dodging, you could always get hit with a pre-attack before that, or some other fodder enemy attacking you and getting rid of it. So honestly, I would have rather have it just been 1 turn instead of 1 time over the course of 3 turns, or even if it's just 3 attacks over the course of 3 turns or something to bolster her defense a little bit. But yeah, you know, it's not a bad skill overall. Mainly, you're going to be using this for the increase to your Noble Phantasm strength, and if you do have to, you know, save it for a Noble Phantasm dodge, then there is the chance that you could also miss it completely, and then you wasted the increase to your Noble Phantasm strength, and you wasted your dodge. So you do have to be a little careful with this skill, but all in all, it's not that bad of a skill. As for her passives, she does have two. The first one is going to be the Magic Resistance B, which will increase her debuff resistance by 17.5%, and the second one will be Independent Action A, which will increase her critical strength by 10%. So all in all, she does have a pretty good set of skills, even if they are very selfish towards herself, but, you know, that's the type of character she is, so you're going to want to bring in characters to support her as opposed to bringing another damage dealer in there to kind of combat her as far as damage goes. But she does have a few drawbacks to her skills, and because of that, she is only going to get 4 stars. I did already talk about that in the third skill. I think that's mostly where I feel like her skill set is lacking. But still, 4 stars for skills is very good. As for her command card chains and her Noble Phantasm, she can do some pretty solid damage. As a alter ego, she does have the bonus of getting a class advantage against multiple classes. So obviously going against Foreigner, she's going to do very well, but she can also do very well against the Cavalry class with Rider, Caster, and Assassins taking extra damage from her. So there's that. For her command chains, the most damage output for her deck is going to be Buster, Quick, Buster. And then for her Noble Phantasm gauge, it'll be Arts, Quick, Quick, Extra. And this is also factoring in her second skill. And then for stars, you're going to go Buster, Quick, Quick, Extra, and that'll give you 28 stars. Her command card deck is balanced as well with 2 Quick, 1 Arts, and 2 Buster. And the hit counts are going to be very good as well with 5 on the Quick, 3 on the Arts and Buster, and 5 on her extra attack. Her Noble Phantasm is Buster as well, so you can do Buster command chains if, you know, you line up your cards correctly. But her Noble Phantasm is very basic, but it gets right to the point. It will deal damage to all enemies at a pretty solid amount on 7 hits. So, mainly used for like farming and stuff, wave clearing. It's not bad, not special, anything crazy, but it does have a pretty good overcharge effect where it will decrease the Buster resistance for all enemies for 3 turns. So that will reduce the, or I guess increase the amount of damage that they take from Buster cards. So if they do survive the initial hit from her Noble Phantasm, then you can load up on Buster cards and knock the enemies out even faster. So it's a pretty solid one, but again, just with everything with this character, basically, she is very basic, I guess, but to the point. So overall, for her damage, I am going to give her 4 stars. She can do some pretty good damage. She's able to farm and wave clear, which is always very helpful, especially when you have to farm a lot, which this game makes us do a lot. So very helpful for that, but she's not going to be very, you know, outside crazy or anything like that as far as damage goes. For her critical ability, she's only going to get 3 stars. She does have, technically she has 2 abilities to increase her crit abilities, so she does have the second skill to increase her gather rate, which is going to be helpful to get those stars onto herself, and she does have the passive to increase her overall damage, but she only has average stats for her absorption and generation, so you're probably going to need to bring someone else in to really generate those stars, unless you're just going into a quick build where you just use her as the star generator with her Buster Quick Extra chains. Her Noble Phantasm will also get 4 stars. Like I said, it is very to the point. It's good for farming, and that's about all it's really good for. But the overcharge effect is really nice, being able to decrease their Buster resistance, so in turn you can increase your Buster damage. That's a pretty unique ability for Noble Phantasm, so that's always a nice one to have. If you know the enemy is going to survive the Noble Phantasm hit, you can just load up the next attacks for Buster cards and do some more damage. Her survivability is only going to get 3.5 stars. She has decently high HP, and like I said, she does have that 1 attack evasion over the course of 3 turns. Nothing special, nothing going to keep her alive as a tank. She does have the alter ego class, so she can take resist damage from a few of the classes. So if you just plan it strategically and make sure that she's in a fight where she's going to resist the damage, then you'll be okay. And that's the same for her versatility as well. You just want to be smart about where you bring her into battle. So if you're going up against a Saber, Archer, or Lancer, then don't bring her. But if you're going against a Rider, Caster, or Assassin, then bring her. You know, it's as simple as that, and she's very good for farming with the AoE Noble Phantasm. She has a built-in Noble Phantasm gauge increase and a Noble Phantasm strength increase, so you could just throw on a Kaleidoscope and use her Noble Phantasm to clear the wave. Very helpful, and she is strong against casters, so that will be very helpful for Quantum Peace farming. And yeah, you know, just be smart about when you take her into the fight. So overall, I will give Okita Alter a 3.8 out of 5. She's very, in my opinion, basic and generic, so to speak, but she is a good character in my opinion. She is someone I've been waiting for a long time, and it's Okita, so, you know, I want her just because of that anyway. I've already done my pull, so I already got her. You guys can check out that video in the link at the end if you want. So as for which banners Okita Alter will be in when she, after this one goes away, there's not that many, honestly, and most of them are just going to be lucky bags. So for the rest of this year, she only shows up once, and that's going to be for the 3rd anniversary lucky bag. So you could potentially get lucky there and roll her, but when you're competing with that many other servants, the odds of getting the one specific servant you want are going to be very low. Now there will be people that will pull it off, but it's going to be pretty risky, and it is paid, so you're going to have to spend money in order to do that. So that's up to you. That's it for the remainder of this year, though. She does come back a few other times, but like I said, they're just lucky bags, and she does come back next year for the rerun of this event. But that's pretty much it. So if you want her, I strongly suggest you pull her now. Otherwise, you're more than likely going to have to wait until like next year or 2 years from now in order to get her. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. So feel free to check those out. And I will leave you guys here with Okita Alter's Noble Phantasm. And I'll see you guys next time.
人説をうがつ無限の光を持って天命を断つ石剣無給サンダー